Motion for the approval of the agenda, please. Motion for approval of the agenda.
Got a question?
Yes, sir.
How can item 6 be considered if item 5 has not been acted upon? It makes it sound like there's been a discussion among the board members that item 5 is going to be approved so that we would automatically take item 6. So it's a question, has item 5 been gotten general approval from all the board members, or how did it get there?
It has not received general approval of everybody yet. We've had some discussions. And that's when we have had phone conversations. And we've contacted, I'm going to try calling you too for one of them, in terms of asking you to respond back with me to let you know. And I sent you the information of the
I have
person.
the information, I'm just asking, how can we do 6?
Well, you won't do 6 and 5.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It's contingent upon
5
5.
days, you gotta have 6.
It just seems odd, and it's a question.
Okay, that's fine, Charles. I have no problem with you asking a question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I motion to approve the agenda.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, can you properly move in second? Open for discussion or questions? Hearing none? Hearing none? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Made motion carry. Okay, thank you. Anyone from the public would like to comment? Do we have anyone from the public for comment? Wow. We're moving right along, man. If we have no public comment. Item number 4, the acceptance of Theresa Mason's letter of resignation as interim director. I had sent each of you board members a copy of her letter, and I also included a copy in the handout that I've given you tonight. Theresa has on her own indicated that she would like to return to her old position as head in the department there, and it's for personal reasons. Personal reasons. So that's what I'm asking you to look at that in terms of, you can read what she has placed there, but looking at that in terms of accepting her letter, asking that she return to her old position.
I make a motion to accept, reluctantly accept the resignation.
May I have a second?
Second, correct?
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. Any discussions or any other questions that you would like to ask of me?
You appreciate her service.
We have said that to Theresa. We had a meeting for this. I'll go on before I do that, but we certainly no questions, no discussions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. I'd like to back up too and say Mr. Durrett and the others who were here for our meeting with the staff on Monday. And at the meeting on Monday, we gave Theresa her kudos for being able to bring us to this point where we are. In terms of knowing it has been very challenging. It's a Yoga's kind of a job, but she has done a Herculean task in terms of putting it together. But she has asked us with all respect in terms of being able to still contribute and still do and work with and for us to see that we achieve a goal of getting our tax passed and the library being able to survive. Okay, with that said, for the next item, item number 5, consider and take action on Marcie Nelson's appointment as interim director. You have some information there. I gave it to you, I think by way of an email, and I also put a hard copy out. We have a video there. We have a letter of interest. I might add that Ms. Nelson is no stranger to here in Lincoln Library. She was here before. She was with the Children's Department. She has been a director of a library in Jackson Parish. In fact, one of the things that kind of made me take a second look to know her explanations of how she was able to achieve having Jackson Parish get their library tax passed. Okay, and she has some ideas in terms of bringing some of those here to help us with our mission to pass our tax here in Lincoln County.
I don't know if it says, and I'm supposed to fit, I mean, if she were appointed, do you know when she could start?
Yes, ma'am. It's on a piece that I gave you.
Okay.
March 25th
Okay.
is the date.
And I mean, I knew that, I just didn't know if we had documented somewhere, March 25th. Okay.
I know also that I had a chance I was pleased in talking to some of the references for Ms. Nelson. And I gave it out there and I encouraged you too, if you could speak with some of the references. I wanted you to hear some of the things that I was hearing as well. And I was very pleased with what it is that I had heard. Pretty good things about what she's been able to do.
I spoke to her personally. I did not speak to her references. I'm glad that you wanted to send them. I did speak to her personally on the phone, and I had the opportunity to ask her some questions. I was also very impressed with her experience and her capabilities of handling this position.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else had a share? Mary Jo?
I did speak with a reference from both Livingston and Jackson Parish, and similar type of things. Very encouraging about how she worked with the community, the police jury, her success with the passing of the vote in Jackson Parish.
Okay. Did you get a chance to speak also, Mrs.?
I spoke to her as well. I sent her
Okay. And what about you?
I did. I spoke with Miss Nelson, and one of the references, and it was all good. And I don't know her, but she had wonderful things to say about this library and her willingness to help regardless if she were appointed interim director or not. She wanted to help with this library.
That was good to hear. That was good to hear.
Like I
Charles?
said, I'm happy that 5 references out of the 5, 2 are from here. And Theresa Mason is one of them that recommended her. So I think that speaks well of her having worked here, and everybody respects her and remembers that she did a great job.
Okay. Charles, were you going to say something?
I've spoken with Marcie, a longtime friend or acquaintance. I can't say anything but very good things about her. I'm just not certain that in light of item 8, that it's the right thing to do. This has nothing to do with Marcie. It's just simply in light of what we're trying to accomplish for this year. When we have somebody already that's capable, has the same qualifications, just as qualified as Marcie, it seems like we have an opportunity here to accomplish something we want to accomplish in number 8.
Okay. Points well taken. Okay, I'm open for a motion if this is what it is that you're feeling about or thinking about.
And I think, I just want to respond to Charles' comments, because I think I thought, I'm sorry, I'll speak up.
Please.
I had a hesitation that Marcie couldn't start until the 25th. We're getting a little bit closer to the 25th, so I'm less concerned by that. I think that we can make it. I think that we talked to the staff on Monday morning, and everyone seemed, like, okay, yes, we can carry this forward without a current interim until we can get someone in place. And And then I also considered what you're saying, that, I think what you're telling me is that under item 8 where it says, reduction in force, well, the thing is, to me, we're going to have a director eventually, like that, we may change whatever salary but we are going to have a director. We're going to pay someone some amount to be the director at some point. So, I don't think I understand what you're saying, but I guess in my opinion, I'm impressed by Marcie. I know that we do have somebody who has the qualifications, but I'm impressed by Marcie, the fact that she has been a director, she has led through some of the issues that we're dealing with currently, and I think that is important for an interim director position right now. So I understand what you're saying. I think I had some of the same thoughts and the same concerns, but that's what kind of tipped me towards Marcie.
Well, the question is, yes, she's been a director. We're looking for interim. We assigned an interim at the last meeting, or whenever that happened. I just think that it's an opportunity to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. So that's all I'll say about it. I think no reflection on her whatsoever.
And I think I want to add one unrelated kind of clarification, because I don't know if it was clear. When we appointed Theresa as interim, it was brought up, well, the interim director will not be able to apply for the permanent position. And I clarified, but it may not have been perfectly clear. In that circumstance, it was that Theresa, with her certain she did not have the qualifications to apply personally for that permanent position. I never was of the opinion, and I don't think we took any kind of formal action to say that the interim director in no way, and no matter who they are, cannot apply for the permanent position.
You are correct.
I would be appointing Marcie and saying that if Marcie wanted to apply for the permanent position, she could do so.
Your assessment is correct, Amy.
And while it would be ideal to have an interim that is not also potentially a candidate for the job, I think that that might not be an option right now.
Okay, so I'm still hoping and waiting for a motion.
If there's no other discussion, then I will make do we want to make this, with Theresa, we did her appointment as interim. I'm asking this for how I phrased my motion. We made hers until we hire a permanent director. Do we want to say this is interim director for so long, and then we extend that? Do we want to say she's interim for 6 months, and then we extend it if we need to, or do we want to say just until we hire our
I think the thought was until we hire a new person to be the permanent
Okay,
director.
and that's fine. I just wanted to visit that in case there were any new
Yes.
thoughts on that we needed to.
That was a thought.
I think that's a valid point. We have an applicant who has a permanent, full-time job now. Would we be required to move, even though she owns a home nearby, for a position that might be temporary? And we can't really define temporary, because I think by your statement earlier, or last time, that we're actually going to see how the tax election goes, which concerns me for her as well as the library. Going to have somebody come in as interim, and then what happens? But that would be her decision.
Yes,
That's
and
exactly
I
what
felt
she
she
said.
was understanding
That's
of
exactly-
efforts.
That's exactly what her
Yeah.
thoughts were. She said that she understood, and she was willing to.
Yeah, she told me the same thing. But it's a concern.
Well, that'd be true for anybody we hire in. It may not be permanent.
Well, it's different for Theresa, who would
Yeah.
revert back, like she's doing. This is someone that's actually picking up, quitting a job, moving. That's her decision.
That's what
As long as it's understood that there's no plus for her to take this interim job in attaining the permanent job. Right? I mean, we're not offering her, well, yeah, this will give you an edge here. Because when we discussed this initially, we did not want somebody in the position to have that edge.
And I thought of that. That is something that ideally, it would not be somebody who's a potential candidate, but given the conditions that we don't have much of a choice, and somebody getting that period of time for us to see how they perform, we can easily see, maybe you are a good fit. So, I think that perfect world, I'd have somebody who's not a potential candidate. Imperfect world, imperfect circumstances, I think this is a good move.
Well, I think Ms. Nelson has shared with me all of those things that you're talking about, Charles. The possibility that she may or may not, the tax may or may not pass, okay? And she is giving up a job that she has with a certainty about it. When I think of the discussions with that, she said that she is willing to be able to come in and do what she has done in the past, and I guess to demonstrate how capable she is of providing the kind of leadership that we are so very much in need of right now.
So, and we can continue the discussion on my motion, but I will motion that we approve the appointment of Marcie Nelson as interim director until such time as we have hired our permanent library director.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. May I have more discussion if necessary, or other questions if necessary? Moved and properly second. All in favor, may I hear aye?
Aye.
All who are opposed, may I hear a nay? Motion is approved. Okay. The next item on the agenda is item number 6, and that in terms of considering take action on the salary approval for Marcie Nelson. When I spoke with Ms. Nelson, I indicated to her basically what we were looking at, and she was pretty much comfortable with that. I think I gave you a backup sheet, did I not? You have a backup sheet for that? Okay. We are proposing to offer her $60,000 beginning on March 25th. Questions, discussions?
Amy, in light of the salaries that you reviewed, and I don't have them memorized, does that look like a proper number?
I think that what I reviewed really wouldn't be comparative or applicable here because that was for permanent director positions. So, this
Well,
isn't.
the question is, how close is that to the permanent positions? Obviously, it's a lot lower than what we were paying, but across the average, across the state, is that high, medium, low for?
Well, I wouldn't know, you're asking, it's a little bit comparing apples and oranges to compare interim salaries with permanent salaries.
Comparing to statewide averages for permanent librarians, is this a high number, or have you
I
considered
wouldn't
that?
compare the interim salary to the permanent salaries because they're not really comparable.
That's true, unless it happened to be in line with what permanent librarians are earning.
Okay, so I can just tell you, factually, I don't think it's a relevant comparison, but to give you the facts of the comparison, is that 60,000 compared to the average that my report put out, I think the average for permanent salaries in the section that I looked at, I think it was maybe 85,000, but that's a permanent.
That's what I need to know.
But that's a
Thank you.
permanent figure. I just want you to understand, I
That's
don't
what
think
I-
that's a relevant comparison.
That's what I was asking.
That is-
To me, it's relevant if it's very close, but it's not very close.
Okay.
It was the average she had was 84, the lowest was 75. Okay.
Yes.
So it's in between?
No, it's below that.
It's
I mean, it's below.
Oh, yes, it's, all right, I'm sorry, it is.
It's, well, what, but as was our, what we decided on our salary for Theresa when she was an interim. It's also, we didn't start her out at an average for permanent directors either. Because it's an interim position, so it's a different concept. It's just not comparable. But I understand where you're coming from, and so, you have those facts to make that decision.
Are there other questions? Other discussions? Okay, if not, I'm asking for a motion on this one as well.
I offer a motion that we pay $60,000 for Marcie Nelson as our interim director, beginning on March 25th.
Okay.
I second it.
other discussions, questions? Been moved and properly second. May I hear all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Are there any nays and negatives, noes? Motion carried. Okay. The next one on the agenda item, thank you, is item number 7. Consider and take action on salary adjustment for Theresa Mason. You have that also handed out to you. When we spoke with Lacey and Human Resources, the thought was pretty much to allow Theresa, who is still here, to almost be as assistant to help Marcie do the transition. It's hard, she's been here, but she's coming back in. So it was with this that the request was made that we consider paying Theresa $51,001.60 up until May 1. And after that time, she will revert back to her previous salary, which was $48,568.
And I think this is correct, that what we're saying here, just so everybody else understands, I think with the 51,000, that's basically, so we went from her original salary, we gave her this 10% raise to go into the interim position. This 51,000 comes down 5%.
Yes, it does.
So she's getting that, a little bit of reduction for, and she'll be here in kind of this transition capacity with Marcie until May 1st, and then she'll go back to her original salary. And I think that there's naturally going to be some, you know, Theresa, what did you do with this? What did you do with this? And I think she should be compensated for that.
Questions or what discussions?
Move we proceed
May I
as
have a-
presented.
May I have a second? You second it?
Second.
Okay, second by Ms. Humphries. All in favor, I hear aye.
Aye.
All opposed, I hear nay. Motion carried. Okay, item number 8. Consider and take action on reduction in force. Ricky.
Can I make a motion?
Yes, you may make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion, we table this.
Okay,
And I would second that motion.
I have no problem. It's been moved and second.
And we can have discussion on that motion, I would add, or do you want to speak?
No, I just want to say that I think it is a very good point at this point in terms of tabling it. We were almost ready to go with it, but we're not quite ready. So rather than come out like this, we're going to table it and come back with our next board meeting, which will be on March 28th.
So you changed it.
31st.
30th, 31st.
Not the next, when is the next board meeting?
March 24th.
Well, I
Yeah,
just
we want to
proceeded.
table it.
But we changed
You
that.
canceled and you
We
changed it.
canceled the 17th for the 24th.
You know, my motion is to table it, not to a specific time.
Okay, all right, a motion, okay, table, but not to a specific day.
If we bring it back off the table, we're ready.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Okay, all right. I got a first and a second, all in favor, discussion, all in favor?
And just to, I mean, because I feel like, you know, we had some issues with this where we're just not ready to make this decision. We worked on it hard this morning, looking at the budget and some issues, and we had to talk to legal counsel about how we go about this. And it's just, unfortunately, we hope to get this off the ground this week and have a decision, but we just don't have that done yet.
We want to make sure we do it correctly and
Exactly.
we don't do something.
We're trying to make sure all T's are crossed,
Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, and all I's are dotted. And we had that discussion with our legal advice. We had it last week, and we even had it up to today. Okay, Charles, you had a question you want to ask?
No, I was just going into the next proposal with reduced hours March 15. Is that going to affect what we're not doing in this item 8?
Well, let's get to the one that we're here. Then we're going to come to that because I think that there's some discussion there as well, if you don't mind. Okay. Okay, table, motion is the table, first, second. Any more discussions on that? Okay, are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Motion is carried, and we will table it indefinitely in terms of coming back and bringing it back before the board again. Now, for item number 9, consider and take action on the proposed changes for library schedule hours beginning March 15, 2021. We had some discussion about this, but I think perhaps I will let you come back and give some other discussions. As late as our meeting with the faculty and staff on Monday, we met with them on Monday in a large group, and we gave an opportunity to speak out and discuss and do some other things. And one of the things that came out of that was, why couldn't we probably look at changing the hours, since we also have been looking at the pattern of people who have been coming in the library. But some other discussion has come forward to say, maybe that's not what we want to do at this point. We probably want to keep it until such time later on, and we'll be able to make some other changes. But right now, the stats are in, and the stats are not that great as far as the number of people coming in, but you still have an opportunity to say whether or not you want us to make the changes. What the proposed changes would have been to open the library Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6, and to close on Sunday with no service on Sunday. 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday.
What's the stats on Sunday? What, are we looking at many people that are using the library on Sunday?
Not as many, and in some instances I was told, and Jeremy helped me out, Jeremy's back there, our statistician for the library, the numbers were certainly even worse than that on a Saturday. But basically I think some people are thinking that we should still keep it open Monday through Sunday.
So with the Saturday hours open, what time would it open Saturday? Is that going to just pick up the Sunday hours and just move it to Saturday?
Well, we would hope that it would have picked up the Sunday hours.
So we're not actually reducing the overall hours?
No.
If we open on Saturday a.m.?
Saturday a.m., right.
Right, so how long are we open on Sunday?
Well, we usually open on Sunday for 4 hours.
So that's 4 hours. Are we going to pick up 4 hours on Saturday or 3 hours on Saturday?
No, we're not going to pick up that. Jeremy, what time does the library close on Saturday? 5?
9 to 6.
6.
It's 1 to 6, right?
No.
1 o'clock
9.
9 to 6.
on Saturday? I thought we had voted to close, open at 1 on Saturday.
No, we still went to 9. That was before, I think, with the virus and whatever that was.
Okay. Then that's not an issue.
That's not an issue. Let's hear some discussion on this one, please.
Yeah, I will go. I just, this is something that I'm willing to, change my mind on as I encounter more information, but currently and I know that you've not formally proposed this, but we're gonna look at it maybe again later. And I understand the statistics, I get it, that you're not seeing a lot of activity, but this is an unusual year, and I'm hesitant and currently do not support reducing hours or closing on Sunday. I know that our numbers might look low for that, but I just think about these kids especially when they're in school and they gotta go get something done on Monday, and some of them, that's where they get their stuff done at the library. They might need those 4 hours on Sunday to get something, or people that are doing virtual learning or something like that. I don't know, I feel pretty passionately about trying to keep our hours as open as we can for people, and especially still offer some of that weekend time. That just seems important to me.
Was there, excuse me.
I was going to see Mr. Richard was going up, but I'll
Well, the
take
question is there a dollar savings that you're applying to Sunday?
There would be, because there would be no use for the electricity and all other things.
Right, and can we say, we don't want to do it, and I don't want to do it, but it's a savings that we're forced to consider. Do we have a number we could?
We don't have a number, but we know there will be a savings.
Sure.
And I think that we can still have staff reduction potentially without our reduction. Maybe we don't need as many people here to be, and still stay open in those hours, and maybe reduce the cost that way.
Mr. Dewar?
Maybe.
I just hate to see us change the hours at this time because we don't have the statistics on. I'd like to see what the statistics are for the times that the library's open throughout the whole week.
And
So
I'd
we
like
can
to see
evaluate it.
how many are here between 6 and 8.
That was my,
Just those 2 hours a
Yeah.
night
You mean
make
every
a
day?
difference during the day, if that makes a difference.
Well, I can tell you right now what the staff has been saying to me. Jeremy, tell me if I'm right or not. Did you tell me that basically the majority of you all in here by yourself are the time the library ends at 8 on those nights?
But he said the last 30 minutes, I think.
Yeah, about the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're talking about 30 minutes, which,
It's
And
your
the numbers-
choice, your discussion.
The numbers might be small, 6 to 8. However, there are some people who will only be able to come from 6 to 8.
I just think about, it's a little selfish too, I think about myself, I'm working all day, and so the only time I could bring my son to the library would be probably in the evenings. We'd still have Saturday, but Sunday, I'll come up here on a Sunday with him before. And so I just know that
I'd like
parents,
Mr. Hurd, I'd like to see the numbers,
yeah, I'd like to see.
attendance specifically. Jeremy, is there any way we can
And they have a count, I think.
determine what is going on? Are they here reading? Are they using the computers? Or what is the overall involvement in services from the library?
I mean, it's gonna vary from time
I
to
can't
time.
hear you. Thank you.
It's gonna vary from time to time and day to day, but, the only hard stats we can give you is we keep a door count. If you want a period of time where we say who's doing what at what time, I've done such a study years ago, and I can use the same form where we can walk around and count how many people are using the computers, how many people are in the stacks, that kind of thing, so you know what they're doing here if you want. We could do that for a month so you could see, or a couple of weeks.
Well, why not let's do that, Jeremy?
Okay.
In terms of getting a different glimpse of it, now that we know, we're saying that yay and nay on both of them, but this would be a more accurate view for you being able to tell us who's using the computers on Sunday more or less on Saturday or what have you.
So since we're delaying reduction of staff, we have the staff to continue with staff.
I would like to look at the staff, but at the same time, we can't lose sight of the fact that we are a service organization. And we're to be here when the people need us to be here. Maybe adjusting who's where and what
We're doing that too.
But
That's a part of it.
I would rather look at that until we get the numbers of what is actually going on and when.
But we had a year with the COVID where people were home during the day so they could come, but that's gonna change. It's gonna go back to where they can only come after they get home from school or home from work. I think after the COVID.
So what is your motion on this one? What am I hearing? I think I'm hearing us to delay this or not to accept it. What am I hearing?
I make a motion, we, study that and look at it again later on.
Will I have a
Second.
second for that one?
Second.
All right. Motion's made that we delay and study. Okay, more discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposers, nay. So carried. Okay. Are there other questions, other items that we would need to discuss? We're at the end of it for our adjournment tonight.
I would like to clarify when our next meeting is, because
Our next
now I'm
meeting is
super
March
confused.
25th, because we said that we were counting from the 17th.
Okay, yeah, 24th.
I'm sorry, 24th.
But
I'm
then
sorry.
I did get an
I said
email,
25th.
I got an email from Jeremy that the committee thing was gonna be the 31st.
Yeah.
What happened was, we had planned to have a board meeting on the 24th, very briefly, and we were also going to bring the people who have been assigned to these various committees to hear us at the board meeting and to break out in sessions and go their own way. However, we're thinking it's gonna be too much.
Yeah.
That's why we have now sent a letter of an email back to the committee members saying, we're gonna change that March 25th meeting with you to March 31.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
So why do we not want to change the board meeting to the 31st? My question, that had nothing to do with the committee. Marcie is coming the 25th,
That's correct.
and we're gonna meet the 24th, and we met the 31st.
She will be here.
That's just a thought.
That's a nice thought.
I mean, I prefer this because the 24th I likely cannot be here. But that's just me. I mean, y'all can carry on without me, but I just like,
You said you
I will not be here on the 24th, like, most likely.
So why don't,
Is that, I realize now, I think that's becoming an Easter week. Is that a spring break? Is that why we're having some problems?
I just have work conflict. I will try to be here at 4. I'm in town, but I'm in depositions all day that day.
I don't know what Easter is.
Spring break is the 29th, that week of the week of the.
So come on back and let me hear us again, Mr. Dewar. You're asking us to change the board meeting from the 24th to the 31st when we're gonna meet with the people on this. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
So that we have one
regardless of
meeting?
the people, I was just saying, the board meeting.
Well, that's fine with me because we've already made the first part of it.
She's coming the 25th. I just thought you might want to.
It will help us.
Is that enough?
It will help us.
Yeah.
Speaking of dates and coming and tying this to Marcie's being here, do we feel confident that she's going to accept this number that we voted on?
Yes, I confirmed it.
Dr. Clark, I think Diana's saying that's the middle of the spring break for Lincoln Parish schools, the Wednesday of the middle. Is that going to affect people on the committees? Will they not be able
Wonder
to
if
do
it'll
it?
affect any of these committees that have children who may be trapped, I mean, I don't know.
So what do we do now?
Well, we can have our board meeting on the
Yeah, board
31st, and
meeting.
we could
If you-
assess it.
I don't think it affects anybody. You don't think?
They may not all be here, but some of them will.
The committee could still meet at a different time than the board meeting.
Right.
You want to delay them another week to get out of that.
To get out of Easter weekend on that.
Right.
I'm
I was
still-
just talking about the board meeting. I wasn't.
Yeah.
getting into the
I
board
think,
meeting.
I think the board meeting on the 31st, and then, you know, because of the conflict we may have with the committee's meeting, with Easter week, we could, move that if we're comfortable with that. I mean, I know we've already gone to the move the one.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Hate to do
saying.
it again.
And Jeremy, okay, or
That'll look bad.
does the bad for us moving in so much.
Let's just go ahead and.
But if we didn't get a lot of responses on the 31st, people saying they can't do it,
Yeah,
then the
it's probably
31st is.
But he just said us that.
Yeah.
Morning.
We didn't get a lot so far, but I'm saying with her saying that we know that there's possibly gonna be, it's gonna,
Could we ask them to RSVP?
So what do we
some have been
decide
calling.
on? Next meeting, March 31st?
That's what we're teetering
And then
around
the
with.
committee meetings would be delayed a week or?
For the same.
I think let's say, let's move our board meeting to March 31st. We will tentatively still have our committee meetings that night. But if we start getting a lot of responses that we need to change this, then we can do that. But now we have a date set for our board meeting. I think that's very important that we go ahead and set that.
I have no problem, because we would have met 3 times almost in the month of March,
I know.
okay?
Let's just do it then.
So there's
So we're saying board meeting for March 31st. Also leave the meeting with the committee members for March 31st, unless we hear them say, it's bad, 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 and then we'll come back and rethink it. Is that what I'm hearing? May I have a motion for that? Did I just say it? Come on, somebody was brilliant.
I think she just said.
I will motion that we schedule our next board meeting for March 31st, which will tentatively be along with our liaison committee meetings unless conflicts arise.
I second.
Who seconded?
Me.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Discussions, questions? All in favor of voting yes? Aye. voting no, nay? Motion carried. Wow. Now, may I say something about this too for, the committee meetings? I must add that we have been working, Jeremy and I and a few others, on this list. And I think I had said to somebody else, we're trying to establish unity in the community. We go latch on to that little mantra. We want as many people in the community to become involved with the library. That's why we're working so hard to call them, recall them, and do some other things with them. We're trying to court them. We're trying to make them come in here. And right now, the idea is to have each committee to come up with about 3 ideas that they'd like to tackle within a short period of time. What will be the focus for that? Again, leading to how you're improving the library. Already, the first one, as I said, the buildings and ground, they're going to look at this event center. They've already started talking, calling, doing some other things, okay? And the second thought, what was the second one, Jeremy? Were you in that group too that came up? Oh, they're saying that why can't we have people come in here, have tours? Some people don't know what's going on. Open it up and have actual library tours like we used to do. So it's a matter of trying to get them to identify some areas that they'd like to work on it, all again for the question of how do we improve, how do we get better, how do we let them come in and help us to see that everybody else can see why we need to pass our tax. And the response has been very good. I can tell you people who have called, they're jumping on it, saying they wanted to. In fact, they are recommending some other people. I just got another recommendation today. So the word is passing around that we're trying to do something and do something a little differently that will improve the library. Any comments?
Very good.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?